right now? No, I'm kidding. But my name is Justo. I'm the owner and president and CEO of Builder Strategies. We're actually a credit repair company located here obviously in South Florida. Thank you so much, Hera, for the opportunity you're giving us, obviously, to be able to be here and share some information, really, because at the end, before you go to the mortgage person or before you get to the title, you obviously have to have good credit, right? So with that being said, when it comes to credit, there's different things. There's 5 different phases that actually builds credit. 35% of your score is actually based on negative information. And it's been a while that I've actually stayed up on stage, guys, so I have a little bit of stage fright, nevertheless. Sorry about that. So nevertheless, we have 35% is based on payment history, everything that's negative, right? So if you have anything like a late payment, charge-off, collections, those type of things, they take 30% of your score. So what happens is that there's this rule, right? It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And this rule is basically passed to protect consumers to be able to go ahead and challenge the accuracy of the information. So one of the things that we want to go ahead and do, not only focus on the negative, but we have 30% of the score, and that's literally based on what is limits versus balances on the credit cards. So besides that, we also have 15% of your credit, and that's actually based on history. How long have you had credit for? Obviously, a good amount of time is anywhere from 9 to 11 years, and we also have 10% of your credit, which is based on what is inquiries. How many times have you ran your credit? Obviously, that's really important. One of the things that I always go ahead and encourage people before you go ahead, and even if you're looking into purchasing a property, is monitoring your credit. Having a credit monitoring platform is really important because obviously not being able to know exactly what you have in your credit report could lead to issues. Obviously, if you're in the process of purchasing a property, you don't know exactly what you have. Maybe you've had stuff in there, maybe from a hospital or medical collection. I have situations and times, as a matter of fact, just recently, I had a client of mine that went through the process of purchasing a property, and it just so happened that they had a medical collection that came onto the report. So depending on where the score is at, you're gonna fall into a certain range when it comes to credit, right? And credit, obviously, from a FICO standpoint, it runs from a 300 to an 850. Having a 620 is really where the fair credit starts. When you start going into like the 640s, you start being eligible for certain programs, the 680s, anything above a 720, and that's kind of like the reason why I had asked about the question of the interest rate, because really, if you have a high score, you're less risk to the lender. If you have a low score, you're technically a higher risk to the lender, meaning that, with that being said, the rate could change. Or in this particular case, you're gonna have to obviously focus on different areas of your credit. So one of the things that we offer clients is a free credit evaluation. We have a 3-phase process where we go ahead and we help clients. The first phase of our program is to challenge the accuracy of the information, everything that is negative. We wanna make sure that you don't have any kind of blemish, anything that's gonna go ahead and hold you back. Besides that, we also help clients to rebuild new lines of credits because obviously that's important. As a matter of fact, one of the things that separates people eventually from having good to excellent credit is going from getting to a point where you have nothing negative. You really have really high limits on your credit cards, really low balances. And I always tell people the magic number here is 30, it's a 30%. So always think about it. If you have a credit card right now with a limit of $1,000 and you have a balance of $300, 300 into 1,000, it's that 30%. Anytime you naturally start going above that 30%, your scores tend to decline. So if you're in the process now of looking to purchase a property, or maybe you're a business owner, you're looking for financing, a business loan, something of that nature, try to maintain those balances as low as possible. Why? Because it's gonna give you the best opportunity for you to be able to obviously approve. Not only that, going back into the running of the report, one of the things that I always encourage my clients when we first get started is looking at their credit. So having something such as like Identity IQ, having a credit check total, myfico.com, these are companies that offer a copy of your credit report, analyzing the report. And one of the things that we do is that we sit with our customers and we start from the top and we go all the way to the bottom. We help them not only to understand the report, because that's literally the last phase of our program, is the education. Education to me personally is more fundamental than anything, because if we knew what we had to do, if we knew exactly the steps that we needed to initiate, there's rules and regulations, there's a process, there's the bureaus. We have the 3 agencies. You can literally challenge information with the bureaus. Besides the bureaus, you could even go straight to the creditors. There's even companies out there that are advocates when it comes to like the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We have the Federal Trade Commission, right? So we can literally put pressure when it comes to challenging the accuracy of the information. But again, everybody's obviously in different stages of credit. Everybody has different things. There's, there's accounts, maybe you have an account with a late payment, or you've had one, or maybe you have a collection. One of the things actually relatively new, as a matter of fact, right after COVID, before COVID, as a matter of fact, every time that you would literally go ahead and dispute something, which I would always encourage, and if you wanted to go ahead and make payments to these accounts at collection companies, the results were not really that favorable. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest things that we're doing right now to expedite the process is that we're actually negotiating debts. It's actually really advisable, really feasible, is one of the things that could expedite our process. So if you have an account right now, maybe you had a collection and they're sending you to collection, not necessarily that you have to pay the entire balance. You could technically challenge that. And most likely, if you dispute that, you can have success in not only deleting it, but again, too, in reducing the balance. I've actually gonna go ahead and I left the flyer and some business cards there, guys. We also have a YouTube channel. It's Buildward Strategies. I put a lot of information on there on the channel. I'm constantly going ahead and just educating people on credit, how it works, the rules and regulations, the options that we have as individuals, because obviously, as you guys know, the whole entire presentation today, when it comes to financing, having that in order is one of the key pivotal points. Having excellent credit means lower interest rates, better financing options. It can even build confidence. You know, if you obviously walk into a dealership or you walk into a lender and you sit down and you know you have an 820, you're gonna feel really confident as to what the outcome of that process is gonna be. So again, we offer a free credit evaluation to everyone and we educate you on exactly what you have. Why? Because this way, just like everything else that we've been talking about, it's preparation. So we go ahead and we sit down, we get a copy of the report, we analyze it, we start preparing, and we start coming through to like an action plan to ensure that you obviously get to your credit goals. It's kind of short, kind of last minute for me too. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.